I'm Joe Alton, MD, also known as Dr. Bones of doomandbloom.net, where you'll find close to 1,000 post videos and podcasts on medical preparedness. Together with my wife, Amy Alton, a nurse practitioner, we're the authors of the 2017 Book Excellence Award winner in medicine, the 700-page third edition of the Survival Medicine Handbook, the essential guide for when medical help is not on the way. Plus other books, plus the designers of an entire line of medical kits for times of trouble at store.doomandbloom.net. In a previous video, we talked about the importance of keeping rodents and the disease they carry out of your retreat in good times or bad. We discussed ways that you can rodent-proof your home, but what are some ways that you can get rid of those unwanted guests that are already there? Well, if you're not sure that your home is currently rodent-free, you might consider looking for things like partially eaten food, gnawed containers, nesting material. You should inspect your home's interior at night with a flashlight, for example. Look especially closely at the bases of walls. Rats and mice prefer to travel along them. Check out little used areas, like maybe that spare bedroom you have. Look for rodent droppings. Mice and rats defecate up to 50 times a day. If they're in your home, you should be able to find their droppings along floorboards, in attic crawl spaces, and in basements. You might set out a thin layer of flour or talcum powder by areas through which rats and mice might enter your home, especially along floorboards. The rodents will leave tracks that'll give away their presence. Of course, it's also good to have cats and dogs as mousers. They may or may not be efficient in killing mice and rats, but they usually will at least alert you when a rodent is near. And also, of course, listen for squeaking and scrabbling noises inside walls at night. They're pretty unnerving if you've never heard them before. You might consider checking for unusual smells. If there are a lot of rats in your home, you might notice an odor from their urine. Now, once you've made the determination that you do have rats or mice in your home, it's time to reduce the population. And that is going to be something that's going to be difficult if you haven't followed my suggestions for indoor and outdoor sanitation in previous videos on this channel. There are all sorts of mouse and rat traps that are on the market, and a number of poisons that are available to kill rodent invaders. It makes more sense to use traps, in my opinion, though, as poisons may lead you with a bunch of dead, rotting animals inside your walls, and boy, that causes a stench that could last for a month or more. Another circumstance where you shouldn't use poisons is if you have a lot of rats in your yard. Poisons might be ingested by neighborhood pets or even children. You should, however, consider trapping boxes. Now, these can be concealed snap traps, electronic zappers, glue traps, or even catch and release versions. Both rats and mice will readily go for a small amount of peanut butter that's put there as bait. Now, advice to the soft-hearted: brown rats, black rats, and house mice are not native wildlife. Besides other damage, they'll cause casualties among native, even endangered, songbird eggs and young if they're released in the wild. Glue traps are popular but controversial. There are better weapons against mice than rats, and unfortunately, they usually leave you with a live animal to kill. If you have to use them, euthanize the rodent by throwing the trap and animal into a bucket of water or by striking it with a stick just behind the head. Another disadvantage of the glue trap is that it loses effectiveness in dusty areas or in extreme temperatures. Snap traps in the home, they should always be placed in perpendicular fashion with the bait side against the wall. Never use just one trap. Place a number of them several feet apart in the rodent's usual route. Traps can be fastened to pipes, by the way, with wire or thick rubber bands. For vertical paths, rats and mice will also travel up and down. When cleaning out a building that has been infested with rats or mice, you have to have specific safety precautions that you have to follow to avoid infection. First and foremost, remember that you should never handle a live or dead rodent, absolutely not, without gloves. Masks also should be worn when you're doing cleaning. Now, there are other steps you should follow. You should open windows and doors before cleaning to allow it to air out, then leave that area for an hour, perhaps afterwards. Avoid raising dust if at all possible. Steam clean all carpeting and upholstery. Clean all surfaces with maybe a diluted bleach solution or other household disinfectant. Soaking areas especially that held dead animals, nests, or droppings. Also, wash all bedding linens and pillows. Use the high heat setting on your dryer. Dispose of any insulation material that's contaminated by rodent urine, feces, or nesting material. And as ultraviolet light can kill viruses, place contaminated items that can't be thrown away, such as important documents, outside in the sun for several hours. If that's not possible, quarantine the items for a week or so in a rodent-free area. This should give enough time for viruses to be inactivated. Dispose of any contaminated items or dead rodents in a plastic bag. Put them in an exterior garbage can, and thoroughly wash your hands after cleaning. Consider showering with soap and hot water as well. We share our world with so many other creatures, and some of these creatures invade our home and can damage our possessions and, more importantly, our health. With careful attention to sanitation and the occasional surgical strike, we can eliminate unwanted guests and make our homes safe environments for our families, in good times or bad. This is Joe Alton, MD, that old Dr. Bones, wishing you the best of health in good times or bad. Thanks for watching. Hey, if you need a solid medical kit for that wilderness hike, hunting trip, or even long-term survival, check out Nurse Amy's entire line at store.doomandbloom.net. That's store.doomandbloom.net. You'll be glad you did.